Borderline is a movie that came out in March of this year. I have just seen it and we're going to review it. Let's go. Borderline stars Samara Weaving, Ray Nicholson, and is directed by Jimmy Warden.
What kind of way is that to treat our guests?
Crazy bitch!
What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2025 review. Now, Borderline is a movie that I knew about that came out in March, and I think you had to like rent it on Peacock or something like that. And I just have so many streaming services that I was just like, nah. And I couldn't really get a screener at the time. But then all of a sudden I get sent a screener for this movie because I guess it's dropping in the UK in like a week or so or something like that. So now I was cheap, I guess. Okay, so I can finally review this movie for you guys. I wish I would have like looked at it back then because it did look interesting, but I'm really glad I'm reviewing it now because after I watched it, boy, was I surprised by how daring and bold and unique and fun and fresh and funny this movie was. I did not expect that at all. I knew that there was going to be like a comedic edge to it because it does involve like stalking and obsession. This character played by Ray Nicholson that is completely obsessed with Samara Weaving, who plays this like pop star. We have definitely had a few thrillers with pop stars over the past few years, which is weird. I know Smile 2 just came out recently. And I guess I'm getting ahead of myself because that is your plot synopsis. I usually say, let me give you a quick plot synopsis, but I don't want to repeat myself. Yeah, that's your plot synopsis. He is kind of obsessed with her and stalking with her. But to go a little bit deeper into it, Ray Nicholson, who plays Paul, definitely has some heavy and deep mental issues. I'm not going to go too crazy with spoiling this movie, although I might kind of touch onto some touchy stuff just because a lot of you guys that wanted to see this probably have seen it. But again, I'm not gonna like tell you everything that happens like in the last act, okay? I don't want to give that type of spoiler stuff away, but I definitely want to get a little bit psychological with this movie. And I can't say my wife actually works with people that have mental problems, I guess you could say. And so when it's interesting to watch somebody like her watch a movie like this to get her opinion, because the main character here that's having these issues is Paul, played by Ray Nicholson. And I think every actor that approaches a mental patient type role, they might go from a few different angles. You know, I think there is a stereotypical type version of that character that we all, have seen so many times, that they're, chaotic and zany. And that's pretty much the approach that he takes here. But it's hard to knock any kind of performance when there are so many different versions of this type of person out there that you can deal with. Sometimes they're just very quiet and they don't want to talk at all. And sometimes they're the opposite of that and they're completely animated and unpredictable. And then sometimes they can be downright like schizophrenic, which is what this character is sort of. And the one thing that my wife brought up was that this was called Borderline, and that is a completely different set of conditions than somebody that is schizophrenic. So I don't know how deep they wanted to go. I know Jimmy Warden, who directed this movie, he wrote it as well, and I don't know what his background is in terms of dealing with patients. But you know what? This is entertainment. That's what this movie is. It's not like some deep, dramatic, philosophical type movie that deals with patients in a mental ward. There's plenty of movies like that. Again, this is for entertainment, and it's done very well, I think, and it was quite surprising given how many movies deal with obsession and stalking out there. And there's so many different approaches you can take with those types of movies. And if you want to have just a really fun time and you want to laugh and you want to just be dazzled by the acting talents of not just Samara Weaving, but also Ray Nicholson. And there's this character by the name of Penny, played by Alba Baptista, who really, I think, steals every scene that she is in. There's this like musical number between her and Samara Weaving that is just so infectious, especially given what happened before that musical number transpired. And it's just a highlight of the movie. This is a movie that just takes so many risks. And when you're dealing with comedy, I think when you mix that with horror, if you do it right, it can really drive it home. And I think the key to that is comedy and horror is not like regular comedy, whereas regular comedy can just be about jokes. Whereas comedy and horror, the joke can be there, but also the context and what's going on screen really adds to the comedy. And more times than not, it's really dark in nature and can be really bloody. And I think Samara Weaving is perfect for these types of roles. She's taken them so many times, and she always shines. I think this is her comfort zone, you know? She has a particular set of like mannerisms that she does, you know, in terms of like her facial expressions when she deals with physical comedy, and it's just infectious. I think Ray Nicholson is great in the role, but given the type of role that it is, I probably wouldn't have minded him going even farther, or maybe even like picking a lane as to what exactly he wants to do. And don't get me wrong, he definitely goes for a certain type of obsessed personality. But I think when you watch the movie, you'll get what I'm talking about. And kicking it back to Smile 2, which I believe he was in that movie as well. Naomi Scott in that movie, you could definitely tell that that was a well-rehearsed type of character that she was creating for that movie. And it's so on the nose and just dead on that it's a performance that is very memorable. Whereas his performance in this, don't get me wrong, it's still very well done. He's a good actor. His father is freaking Jack Nicholson, of course. But maybe you can't help but compare him to Jack Nicholson, like in The Shining. And again, that's a performance that is so, you know, well executed and zoned in. Whereas this one, I think it's a little bit, it's not completely fine-tuned yet, right? But again, it's still very entertaining. But I gotta say, I had a freaking blast with this movie. It far surpassed my expectations for it, and it ends up being maybe in my like top 10 favorite movies of the year. I was shocked by that. I'm way late to the game on this review, but if I see a movie that I really want to recommend to you guys that might not have seen the movie, then I want to tell you about it. And I got to tell you about Borderline. You got to watch this movie if you haven't. And when you have, let me know down in the comments what you guys thought. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where I talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, do for Fridays. Follow my Drumdums on my socials, support me on Patreon, become a channel member, buy me coffee. You know, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and Drumdum out.